Hello, Alexander. I should probably explain why I am using these videos to reply, and it's an easy answer because I've just decided to do this a lot, and these mark the first time. So nothing special about that. I imagine people will get used to it pretty soon. It's a lot easier for me to manage, actually, than laboriously writing. So the answer I have for you is that, well, with respect, you brought it up. You asked about the context or the level or the meaning of what I'm calling playing on purpose, which is not really a stand in for the older term creative agenda. It's a much broader, softer term with a lot of room for individual customization. Well, that is what you asked about. You arrived to do that. So I answered it. In order to discuss that, other things have to be left out or designated as not eligible for consideration in the context of that question. You've mentioned several times that you have watched the Phenomenology videos. You may have noticed that the vast majority of them are devoted to the medium of play rather than its purpose, and the procedures inside that we call rules. For example, how the ghost character in the Monster Hearts game I'm playing at the moment tore an eye out of another individual during one of the scenes. What did the player roll? What did they announce before they roll? How is the sequence determined? How was it done? The same thing could be said for um, some of the events in my recent play in Empire of the Petal Throne, where various characters conducted skullduggery of all sorts, and many a skill roll was made, and many an indignant or formal exchange of kind of dangerous implications passed back and forth. Which of those things were governed by rolls, which of them were not? The rules for that in Monster Hearts are very different from the same sorts of fictional activities in the Empire of the Petal Throne. Most of the Phenomenology videos are about that. My term black boxing therefore referred to our exchange about playing on purpose. Because once playing on purpose is designated as what it is and properly addressed at the scale at which it occurs and in the stuff of which it occurs, which is human fun, time, and effort they put into it, how they do it, then you say, oh, wait, stop. How about that how they do it part? And then you can dive down into the activity in and of itself and see what on earth they are doing with their time specifically. And that is, of course, where all my real interest lies in role playing, talking about playing on purpose, as far as I'm concerned, ever since 1999, has been simply to acknowledge it, say, and move on and talk about the cool stuff, which I've done at some length, not only in those videos, but in pretty much everything else I've done, and what this entire site, Adept Play, is devoted to. Therefore, it's kind of hard to take seriously the kind of hectoring lecture you've provided about my perspective and what I seem to miss or not understand or how I confuse people. And my only response to that is, well, that's what you asked about. That's what you got an answer for. If you would prefer to talk about the negotiation of point build totals in, for example, GURPS, were we to play a swashbuckler game, I'm on it. If you wanted to talk about why there are humanity checks in Sorcerer, whereas very similar phenomena occur, but there are no humanity checks in Circle of Hands, two games of mine, I'm on it. We can talk about what people like, which is not the same thing as playing on purpose. We can talk about what fun there is to be had specifically and the role it plays and possibly does play as well, because system matters, toward purpose. What those various techniques mean in those terms is a wonderful topic. I'm on it. So, again, thanks for your interest. This is what we do here. I'm not super interested in continuing this exchange. The purpose that you stated when I asked you doesn't really seem to have jibed with your latest reply. I can't see the connection. If that's what you came here for, then why reply in that fashion to reveal myself to myself or something of that kind? It doesn't make much sense to me. So I give you an invitation instead. Post in actual play. A verbal account is fine. You don't have to have a recording. Doesn't have to be very long. Doesn't have to be about tons and tons of play. It doesn't have to be about recent play. Shoot, tell me about a combat that a character of yours engaged in the first role-playing game you ever played. Whatever it is. Describe it. Does it have to be in the details? No. Whatever seems important to you, and I mean that internally, because nobody can designate that internal importance for you. Whatever it is, bring it up and say, all right, we were talking in phenomenology. What do you got for me? I talked about this. Where is this in your phenomenology? What's the important thing? What is the point of this? And by that, I don't mean the purpose of play. I mean, what is the point of this site? What is the point of you and me talking here? You mentioned other people watching. I don't care. I do care about you in posting here and what we might talk about. Hop over to actual play. That's where the action is.